My name's Lukey, reporting for EPWPerth.com. We're here at the very first EPW event for 2008, and what a huge night it was. We got underway with the EPW Tag Team Champions in action, FN Carnage and his partner Chris J. Lazarus, and they basically threw out an open challenge. Anyone who wants to come from the back and fight us can. Now, this was the weird moment. Bobby Marshall came out with AZ and introduced his new friend, the newest member of his little gang, Jay Taylor. Yeah, it sounds like I'm making it up, but look, there's video. It backs me up, I swear. They started calling him JT. So it was AZ and JT taking on the Fighting Hellfish, and what a huge match it was. AZ and JT determined to make a big name for each other, really put everything into this matchup, but at the end of the night, it was the EPW Tag Team Champions, the Fighting Hellfish, that walked away with the victory. Next up in action, let's talk about the man himself, Jimmy Payne. Now, he had a huge matchup against a man making his debut, Alex the Kid Kingston. Nate Dooley, what the hell are you doing here?
Lukey, you do not need to spend any time talking about the massacre that was Alex the Kid Kingston and Jimmy Payne. Jimmy Payne murdered him. What's more important is Gold Rush. Jimmy Payne with an NWA Australian title shot against the international wrestling superstar. He's back. Mike, I just want to thank you for humbling yourself, for giving up the big paydays and the bright lights of the United States to come back home to little old Perth, Western Australia. But I'll let you in a little secret, Luke.
What's that?
And I'll let you all in on a little secret. Before he was the international wrestling superstar, the comic book superhero brought to life, he was nothing more than a skinny, brace-faced punk. Nothing more than a brace-faced punk until he stepped in the ring and went eye to eye with the biggest, baddest bully in the West, Jimmy Payne. Quite frankly, instead of a contendership, instead of Jimmy Payne being the #1 contender, challenging for the belt, Mikey should stand in that ring and just give it to him, because there would be no international wrestling superstar, no big man on campus, Mikey Nichols, without Jimmy Payne.
Are you done? Are you sure you're done there? That's Nate Dooley with a few choice words. Of course, Jimmy Payne did walk away in a victory, that matchup, but it wasn't as one-sided as Nate Dooley made it out to be, though. Alex the Kid Kingston almost pulled a big upset over Jimmy Payne. However, the odds were stacked against him, especially with Nate Dooley at ringside, and Jimmy Payne did have his arm raised in victory, and he will be in Maylands the 16th of February, taking on Mikey Nichols for the NWA Australian Championship. The belt is on the line, the biggest title in Australian wrestling, and I can't wait for that matchup. Let's talk next about the #1 contenders for the EPW Tag Team titles. Now, 3 teams unfortunately came up short at Reawakening, and now they had a chance to redeem themselves here at the Roadshow and pick up their opportunity to take on the Fighting Hellfish at Gold Rush next month. They are, of course, the former champions Azazel and Ferguson Block, Chase and Dan Moore, and the European Union. Now, this was one of the most fast-paced. These guys put their bodies on the line. They just took it to each other. And then, out of nowhere, the European Union pulled out a massive victory and put themselves right back up as the tag team #1 contenders to the Fighting Hellfish. So you're going to see February 16 in Maylands, the Fighting Hellfish taking on the European Union for the EPW Tag Team titles. And then we spoke about him earlier. Mikey Nichols, the NWA Australian champion, was in action, and he was taking on Chris Weiss. Mikey Nichols once again walks away with the victory, and of course he's got his work cut out for him. As Nate Dooley mentioned, he is taking on Jimmy Payne at Gold Rush. You do not want to miss that matchup. Of course, more details of that at EPWPerth.com. And it isn't often I get to do this, but I got an exclusive here on the recap. I can announce a match that you don't know about. Basically, I was having a bit of fun with Jose Del Santo, giving away some prizes in the ring. Nate Dooley chose to come down and have a few choice words for Jose Del Santo, and let's just say Jose was not happy about it. After that incident, Jose has basically demanded a match with Nate Dooley, and that's going to take place at Gold Rush next month. So that's another reason to get there. If you haven't already bought your tickets, you should be logging on and doing it right now. What are we, Ticket Tech now? It is, isn't it? Ticket Tech? It's all one word, tickettech.com.au. Then we saw, it was supposed to be a non-title match next up. Shane Haste, the EPW champion, and Johnny Wimbledon. Johnny Wimbledon, however, begged, pleaded, did everything he could to get Shane Haste to change his mind and make it a title match. And so that's exactly what happened. Shane Haste gave in, let Johnny Wimbledon have the biggest opportunity for his career and fight for the EPW title. Johnny Wimbledon, let's just say he left nothing out. Everything Shane Haste was doing, Johnny Wimbledon was also doing. It didn't matter what Johnny Wimbledon did, though, and how much the European Union interfered. Shane Haste, once again, the awe-inspiring one, was unstoppable and had his hand raised in victory and retained his title. Who's he going to defend against? Well, that was to be discovered in the Lucky Losers match, which was the main event of the first Roadshow for 2008. Davis Storm, Devlin Reeves, Bobby Marshall. These three men were fighting it out, and the winner will get their chance to go for either the tag team titles, the NWA Australian title, or the EPW title. Bobby Marshall had his hand raised in victory and declared war on Shane Haste.
Shane Haste, you'll me one more time at Gold Rush. This time, I swear to you, the result will be different.
So, come February 16 at Gold Rush, it will be Bobby Marshall taking on Shane Haste for the EPW title. It will be the European Union going up against the Fighting Hellfish for the EPW tag team titles. And it will be Jimmy Payne going up against Mikey Nichols for the NWA Australian title. It's going to be one of the hugest shows in the history of Explosive Pro Wrestling, and I better see each and every one of you there. My name's Lukey, reporting for EPWPerth.com.